he would take one of them, or he would at least say he's interested. And I haven't heard either one of those. Shout out to Key C in the building, holding it down. Had a classic Chief Rocker show on right before mine, so appreciate Key C, all his hard work. Adam Gase is a complete idiot. That franchise is laughable. I agree with that. I'll take the Lakers' problems over the Jets any day. And yes, Mocha, I'm about to get to that. Benny Award to Robert Smith for paying off the 2019 graduate student loans at Morehouse. That is huge. That is, if you ever, or if you do have a student loan, if I was in that class, I probably would have fainted. They would have had to fan me to help me get up, because I'm still paying off student loans right now. And I've been out of college since 2004. What is it right now? 2019. So getting your student loans paid off is huge. So I'll be talking about that in a minute. But yeah, Robert Smith, man, that's a huge day, a day in history, not just for Morehouse, but for colleges, period. Name one other person that has done that at any other college. I don't care, HBCU, Ohio State, whatever college. I've never heard of this before, but that is generationally changing each and every one of those kids' lives, because paying student loans off in your generation is going to be difficult to do, because we're talking about $40,000, $60,000, $80,000 depending on how many years you went to school. If you had a scholarship or didn't have a scholarship. So straight up, that is a huge feat for someone to do. And if you don't have student loans, you may not understand what I'm saying. But student loans, and you cannot get out of it. You can't just call the student loan people and say, I'm just not going to pay it. Is that okay with you guys? They're going to say, yeah, sure. And then roll back around, that money's going to get taken out of your check. Because guess what? It's Uncle Sam. And Uncle Sam don't play about that dough. So I'm going to need you to pay this money, or I'm going to take the money. That's the way it all comes down. All right, so let me get back to my notes here. Chris Long retires from the Eagles. 11 years, 2 championships, one with the Eagles, one with the Patriots. No, he didn't have a great career, but hey, he's got 2 rings. And what is the ultimate goal? Winning a championship if you're playing a professional sport. And he was a member of 2 teams. All right, so we got to talk about one of the biggest, loudest knockouts that I've seen in a minute. Deontay Wilder. That fight was like a Mike Tyson fight. That fight was like Mike Tyson and what was that guy's name? I can't remember. Like Johnny Spence or something like that. I don't know what the guy's name was. McNeely. I think his name was something McNeely. But Deontay Wilder talked a lot of trash. He walked to the ring looking like Master Shredder off of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But guess what, though? He backed it up. He was in this dude's face from beginning to end, which it was only 1 round. So I'm sitting down watching this fight. And I'm folding clothes. And I look down for like a brief second, and I look back up, and the dude's on the ground. He's not just on the ground. I'm laying out. I'm doing a snowman. I'm doing a snow angel on the ground, except his arms aren't moving. He got put to sleep. You just got knocked out. You know that line from Friday. And when he did get up, he was still wobbly. So all I got to say is, if you talk that much trash like Wilder did, and you back it up, that's a boss. That's a boss move right there. Now, after the fight, he did talk about how the fans want to see Wilder Joshua, how the fans want to see him in a rematch with Fury. And he has come out and said, that they are trying to come together. They're trying to come together to get this fight that the fans want. So they're working on it. But he said something very key. He said, this is our lives out here. Like, you guys are watching this as entertainment, but this is my life. If I get knocked out dead in the ring, I need to make sure my family is straight. I need to make sure that I have things in order and in place. And this is life or death. This is a life or death. This could be life or death at any point in time. So he made a really great point. But I do think Wilder Joshua will happen. I just don't know if it's going to happen when they're like super old and they're like 40 years old. I just hope it doesn't take that long. I think we'll probably see Wilder Fury first as a good matchup. Let me see. We got some comments here. Robert Smith gets Man of the Year award. Chris Long was a big contributor on third down for my Eagles, especially the Super Bowl run. I beg to differ on the ultimate goal. I knew you would say that. I knew you would say that, A-Trap. Dude Jaw is still on life support. Peter McNeely. Benny to Jamon Brown of the Falcons for paying for the funeral for the infant that was beat to death by his father for beating him in a video game. Wow. Wilder cracked him. I thought he was actually dead. Wilder hit that man and turned around like Steph Curry shooting a three. It sounded like a car door slam. Yeah, I looked away for like a brief minute because I'm thinking, surely this will go past the first round. You know, I got time to pick up a shirt and start folding it, and then I look back and the dude was on the ground. But he backed up exactly what he said. And he needs a better opponent, though. And Jim Gray interviewed him. I think that was Jim Gray, saying, you know what people want to see. And his response, I think his response is great. We're working on it. But we need to make sure it's right for us. And that is taking the boxer's interest at best heart. Because if that boxer dies, yes, we're going to be sad. But who's going to be most affected by that? His family. If Wilder continues to improve his boxing skills along with his power, I just don't see Joshua beating him. Wow. You got a great point. Wilder has been shutting people down. He took Fury all the way to the entire fight, but he still knocked him out. He got up by the grace of God. I think God must have whispered in his ear, get up, young man. And he got up because he got knocked out like Dominic Breazeale got knocked out. So for the high amount of money, I'll fight him, says A-Trap. So that was the knockout heard around the world Saturday night. Very quickly. Other news from the weekend, the St. Louis Blues are one win away from making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Rashad Evans of the UFC will be going into the UFC Hall of Fame. We had the Preakness from this weekend, and it's really not that exciting because you can't have a triple crown. Because you had the horse that won at the Kentucky Derby, and then it was flipped around to somebody else. So to me, it's not as exciting, but I'll bring it up. War of Will wins to overcome Warriors Charge. And then Brooks Koepka, PGA Championship was this past weekend. He becomes the first golfer in history to hold consecutive titles at two different major championships simultaneously. The other one was the U.S. Open, and he was talking mad trash too. He was talking so much trash, but guess what? He backed it up and you won. So if you can talk the trash and you can back it up, nobody can really say anything to you. It could just be crickets because you shouldn't have anything to say. Benny awards to Koepka and Wilder. That dude was a bum Wilder beat. My money on Joshua. It wasn't top competition. You're right about that. Will he fight somebody that's top competition? I think he will. This next fight, I don't think it's going to be Joshua. I just don't think, because I don't think they've come to an agreement yet. But I think Fury will definitely happen. I think the Fury will definitely happen coming up, probably his next fight. Okay, so billionaire technology investor and philanthropist says his family is providing grants to wipe out the student debt of the entire 2019 class at Morehouse College. My alma mater, the house, Kesey's alma mater too. I got the story from him because I seen it on his timelines. But Robert F. Smith made the announcement Sunday morning in front of nearly 400 graduating seniors. And he received probably the loudest, biggest cheers you will ever see at a Morehouse College graduation. Not just from the kids, but from the parents. The parents was probably running around praising the Lord with the student loans being paid off. And like I said earlier, that's huge. Huge. Yep, Marcus Harper too. Always great talking sports with you, good people. Appreciate you, Antoine. Yeah, man, I said that, like I said, that's generational. Sometimes people don't even pay off their student loans at all. And then they eventually die, and I don't know how it works, but I'm assuming that student loans probably goes to like the second in kin. Because again, this is the United States government. The biggest business ever is student loans. There is, I believe, 1.4 billion, it's in the billions, of people that still owe student loans. So that's huge. All right, so my Benny Awards, which you guys have been doing a great job putting those in the chat room. Brooks Koepka winning the PGA Championship. Draymond Green with a triple-double, playing point, forward, center, everything. Deontay Wilder with a knockout in the first round. Kawhi showing up, and I do think Kawhi is injured, so let's be on the lookout for that. That knee did look a little shaky. And Robert F. Smith paying off the student loans of the entire 2019 class. So big ups to him. Big ups to everybody that tuned into the show today. Thank you so much. Round of applause to you guys. All right, so on tap for the rest of today on X Squad Radio, we've got Knox coming on at 3:30 Central. We also will have Clutch Talk Sports coming on at 3 Central on TuneIn Radio, so make sure to check that out, Sports Radio America. And then we'll have Midnight Love Jones coming on later tonight on the network. Also, looking for some other sports talk, ABM Posting in the Paint coming on as we speak. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. God bless. God is love. I'll be back tomorrow with the Dope Music Podcast. Peace.